Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the second session of Vasant Vihar Club's Springfest 2022. Cricket is undoubtedly one of the biggest passions in India, and with international cricket being played around the year nowadays, the interest remains alive at all times. Our session today comes to you on a day when the first test match of the India Sri Lanka series has started. To talk about the exciting world of cricket, we have a very interesting and knowledgeable panel this evening. Mr. Madan Lal, or Madi Paji as he is popularly called, has been a veteran of Delhi cricket scene. Having played 39 tests for India apart from several ODIs, he has been known as an outstanding all-rounder. A member of the Indian winning World Cup squad of 1983, I have seen on various stage shows Kapil Dev's talking about the incident when Madan Lal insisted that he be given an opportunity to get Viv Richards out, and he did with that brilliant uh, catch by I think Kapil Dev, but it was Madan Lal's bowling. And this is what probably changed the course of the game in India's favor and enabled India to win its first World Cup. Arun Lal, another well-known Delhi cricketer and my co-alumni from St. Stephen's College. He played both Test cricket and ODIs for India and has over 10,000 runs in Ranji Trophy. Played, I think, both for Delhi and Bengal. Has been a cricket administrator and commentator for many years. And Sunil Walson, another Delhi cricketer best known for being a part of the Indian squad, which won the World Cup in 1983. He was, during the 80s, India's best left arm fast bowler, and if I may say so, a feared left arm bowler for his speed. Anchoring the program is my friend Amrit Mathur, my college mate, obviously, a prolific writer in various national dailies and much sought after for his knowledge of cricket. Before I invite Amrit to start the panel discussion, I'm going to request our president to just give a note of welcome to the panelists, and then we will get into the discussion. So, General Shankar Prasad, over to you.
Thank you, Raj. And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you so much for the panelists who have agreed to come on this show today, or this program today. Madan Lal is a great cricketer. We all know of him. Thanks a lot, Madan, for coming. And
Thank
Arun,
you.
another great cricketer. We've just heard about them. And Arun, thanks a lot for coming. And
Pleasure.
of course, we have Sunil Watson. I don't see him on the screen, though.
Yeah, Mr. Watson, can I ask you to switch on your camera so that we can also spotlight you?
Yeah, that's what I thought. Anyway, welcome to him as well. And of course, you didn't want to use the nicknames, but I only know Moni Mathur and not so much as an Amrit Mathur. Amrit, thank you so much for coming and accepting our invite and coordinating with all the great cricketers to be on this very interesting discussion. Just for the information of all those who are on the program this evening, including our panelists, we normally have a literary festival every year in the month of February. But for the last 2 years, last year and this year, we've not been able to do one physically. We've done 3 or 4 physical lit fests. But because of the pandemic, we did last year a very fine session of lit fest on Zoom. And this year again, we're trying to do a little more smaller scale Zoom meetings, which are about 2 or 3 times a week, spread over the month of March. So when I was thinking about what should be the topics for this year's lit fest, and I always think of what the newspapers are talking about. So the newspapers today, and a very large number of us, I don't know how many of you do, open the newspaper from the last page to say what's the sports news. And so we thought of having an exciting world of cricket. And nothing excites Indians in the field of sports more than cricket. I mean, just to illustrate a little bit with an example, today India is playing Denmark in the Davis Cup in Delhi. Not many people on this program even are aware of it, whereas everybody seems to know the latest score, ball by ball, of what is happening in Mohali and the 100th test that Kohli is playing today. So all what I'm trying to illustrate is this, that cricket is the most exciting sports that the Indians like. It's a national sport today. You go to any mohalla, any gully in villages, that's where cricket is being played. And that is how great cricketers are coming up these days. The people who are really the young boys and girls who are coming up, and girls who are coming up in cricket these days, are all coming from background which perhaps was not so about 20 or 30 years ago. So, ladies and gentlemen, I wouldn't take any more time. Let's have the exciting world of cricket today before us. And I think Raj Sharma is well prepared to have a great discussion with these wonderful cricketers we have. And of course, Moni will do whatever best he can to excite us all on this program. Thank you so much. And
Thank
over
you
to
very
you,
much,
Raj.
Mr. Before we plunge into the panel discussion, I'm going to once again ask Mr. Sunil Walson to, switch on his camera. We can't see him.
Raj, I just got a message from him saying that he's having some problems with the camera. Is it possible to patch him on in some way?
Not without his camera being on.
Yeah.
Um,
I just got a message saying that he's having some trouble with the camera.
I don't know if he can hear me. If he can, leave the meeting and rejoin, sometimes that works. But I think in the meantime, I'll patch him as soon as he rejoins. But over to you, Moni, for an exciting discussion on the exciting world of cricket.
We can start while we're trying to get Mr. Walson on.
Yeah.
Okay. So thanks, Raj, for the introduction and setting up the context for today's discussion. Thank you very much, General Saab, for the kind words of welcome. Good evening, everybody, and a very warm welcome to Madipa, Piggy, Mr. Walson, the three of you. Now, you introduced the three panelists and mentioned about Madipa and World Cup and things. But I think what is not known as much is that he played cricket, first-class cricket for 22 years. This is a very long time. Actually, so did Mr. Lal. Piggy also played 22 years of first-class cricket. So that's a lots and lots of experience in what they've done, what they've learned. So I think a lot of it will emerge as we go along with the discussion today. Another sort of not as well-known fact about Madipa is that apart from his wickets and his fast bowling and what all he did, he made also 10,000 first-class runs with 2200s. So that's one part of his career which is not known or highlighted. He's also been a coach of the Indian team. He's been a selector. He's been the chairman of the Cricket Advisory Committee of the BCCI. He runs the Cricket Academy. So he's actually completely immersed into cricket in every possible manner. So is Mr. Lal, actually. 22 years of first-class cricket, 10,000 runs, 30 hundreds. But stats aside, he's coach of the Bengal team at the moment, which is doing exceptionally well. And there is the final of Ranji last season. He's been a commentator for many, many years. Mr. Walson, we know, and you mentioned, Raj, that he was a quick fast bowler. Let me tell you, he wasn't quick, he was scary in those days. And people of, current fans would know Natarajan, they'll know Sakaria, they'll know Khalil. But believe me, Wally was yards quicker and yards better than them, all of them. So just to put that in perspective, where he stands as a left-arm fast bowler. Apart from that, he's been involved with cricket. He's been with the Delhi Daredevils and Delhi Capitals for more than 10 years. So he's seen cricket very closely. He's seen Ranji Trophy, he's seen first-class cricket, he's seen international cricket, and the IPL, which is the latest thing now. Okay, I think let's start with questions straight away. First thing, from all three panelists, today's Virat's 100 Test match. Where do you think he sits in terms of Indian cricket greats? We have a long tradition of top-class batting, Gavaskar, Tendulkar, Dravid. So where does Virat sit? Madipa, aap pehle.
Thank you very much, Amrit. And my dear friend Arun, after a long time, I'm seeing him. बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है मेरे को आपको देखते हुए और आपकी आवाज जब मैं सुनूंगा और ज्यादा अच्छा लगेगा. काफी साल हो गए हमें मिले नहीं.
मुझे भी
हाँ तो पर स्टिल आई विश यू ऑल द बेस्ट एंड ये है कि आप ऐसे ही हंसते रहें और अपना सेहत बनाए रखें. ये बड़ा जरूरी है लाइफ में बिकॉज द पार्ट ऑफ द कहते हैं ना कि जिस पड़ाव पे हम हैं उस पड़ाव पे हेल्थ इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट ऑफ लाइफ. सो कीप ऑन डूइंग एक्सरसाइज और द वे आई डू एवरी डे. So that's the main thing, But Virat Kohli, if you ask me, I think he's one of the best batsmen at the moment in the world. I know he's struggling a bit for the last 1 or 2 years, but great player always comes out this sort of thing, form में आ जाते हैं काफी. ऐसी कोई बात नहीं. It's a matter of time. But if you ask me to मैं उनको कहाँ पे रेट करता हूँ तो बड़ा मुश्किल है. मेरे लिए तो नंबर 1 पे हमेशा सुनील गावस्कर ही रहेंगे और दूसरा कोई उनको ना छू सकता है ना आ सकता है. वर्ल्ड में मैं कह रहा हूँ, मैं वर्ल्ड में भी की बात कर रहा हूँ. उसके वो जो है उन्होंने जो हमने देखा है, अरुण भी जानता है, हमने जो देखा है उनको खेलते हुए, मैं समझता हूँ कि उससे बढ़िया बैट्समैन ना आज तक ना वर्ल्ड में हुआ है ना हिंदुस्तान में हुआ है. आगे दूसरी बात जो है, हाँ डेफिनेटली सचिन तेंदुलकर has done very well for our country. जहाँ पे हमारी क्रिकेट भी बहुत ग्रोथ हुई है, वहाँ सचिन तेंदुलकर के आने से भी he's done very well for. क्योंकि अगर आपके पास ऐसे हीरो ना हो तो आपकी क्रिकेट की ग्रोथ जो है वो थोड़ी सी कम हो जाती है. एंड नंबर 3 मैं समझता हूँ कि विराट कोहली डेफिनेटली इन माई दिस लाइन, क्योंकि he has changed everything in Indian cricket. जब वो कैप्टन बने, उन्होंने जो उन्होंने किया है इंडियन टीम के लिए, मैं समझता हूँ कि वो बहुत ही अच्छा किया है. क्योंकि उन्होंने जो हमारे कैप्टन जो 99% जो हमारे कैप्टन है वो पेस बॉलर को इतनी ज्यादा अहमियत नहीं देते थे, पर विराट कोहली जब कैप्टन बने उन्होंने एक बात तो तय कर ली थी कि हाउ आई एम गोइंग टू विन many more matches. And then he decided that I must have a pool of fast bowler. So that's where I think he's a champion. That's why I think he has won many matches. क्योंकि आपको जब भी आपने कभी any test match, if you want to win, then you have to get the few wickets early on wickets. And then we had the world best spinner with us. So that's why we are winning more matches. And that's where Virat, I believe, and लोग कहते थे कि पैशन नहीं है, इंडियन क्रिकेटर जो है बड़े डुसल से रहते हैं, कभी कुछ ऐसा नहीं है. पर विराट कोहली ने जो पैशन पैदा किया है, जो जोश पैदा किया इंडियन टीम में, वो भी एक काबिले तारीफ है. क्योंकि देखिए चाहिए ऐसा एंटरटेनमेंट चाहिए. आपको लगे कि दुनिया को कि हाँ हमारे पास भी एक ऐसा खिलाड़ी है जो कि लड़ सकता है. he is the only batsman who can say to the fast bowler, come on, I'll show you how I'm going to get the runs. So that's where I think Virat Kohli, hats off to him. 100 test matches, I think 100 test matches वही खेलता है जिसमें दम होता है और जो वर्ल्ड का बेस्ट खिलाड़ी होता है. मैं इतना ही कहना चाहूंगा. और मैं ये भी कहना चाहूंगा, I wish him luck, क्योंकि he can keep on playing for 1 or 2 more years. So हमारी जो क्रिकेट है और भी ज्यादा इसके साथ स्ट्रांग होगी, but it all depend on his performance. Thank you.
Thanks, Madhiba. Piggy, Gavaskar better than Tendulkar and Virat Kohli?
Chotu, it's not really fair to compare different eras, different situations, different times.
Listen,
but let me say,
that's a normal story. Compare nahi kar sakte.
No, it isn't. Gavaskar played Test cricket, okay, and he played from a team that was much weaker in those days. We didn't quite win outside of India at all, and from that perspective, he was like a lone warrior against the fearsome West Indies. I've seen him perform miraculously against, also in England, he's performed fantastically. So, yeah, obviously, because I played along with him, we have that, reverence for him, like Madhipa just said. And I do believe he's, I wouldn't want to be put into the corner to say 1, 2, or 3. I want to say that, certainly amongst the top. If it comes to Test cricket, I think nothing like Gavaskar. If it comes to, the sheer weight and dint of runs and hundreds, Tendulkar. And if it comes to, modern day cricket, certainly Virat, and he's not over by any stretch of imagination. And the one thing I want to say about Virat Kohli, in fact, 2 things. History, listen, Test captains have come contributing throughout and getting India where they are today. Be it Gavaskar, and after that, there's a huge shift because of Kapil Dev and beyond Dhoni, Tendulkar for a while, even Dravid's contribution, then Dhoni, and now we've got Virat Kohli. but history will judge cricket as before Virat Kohli and after Virat Kohli. His major contribution has been like a paradigm shift in the fitness regime of the Indian cricketer. We were never called, as fit as any other team. And now I think we are fitter than most teams. So that's one area that his contribution has been enormous. It's taken us to a different level. And the other is that from what I remember, we used to approach Test cricket from a very different perspective, even first-class cricket, that first you ensure that you don't lose, and then you think about winning. Here comes a man who says that we think and only think of winning. In the process, if we lose, it's fine by me. But we, from the start to the end, we think and play to win. I think that is a major, major contribution to the mindset, to the approach of the cricketers, and to, slowly it's come to to believe that a cricketer from India is probably going to win as much as any other cricketer from abroad, probably more. That's why we stand where we are.
Listen, he's played 100 matches. Tendulkar played 200. How far do you think Virat can go in terms of playing Test cricket?
Very difficult to say. It's not going to be the fitness that will stop him. Sometimes it's you get let's say diverted from because of family, because of other reasons. Your priorities change. The way you look at life changes sometimes, and that single-minded devotion may change. That's where I hold Tendulkar as a colossal, entity. That what an inspiration he has been to have that longevity, to have it with that single-minded purpose, devoid of any other distractions in life. I'm sure he has as many as anybody else, but to be able to focus on that. So there Tendulkar wins hands down. He's an inspiration to anybody in any field of activity or endeavor. So Sachin Tendulkar that way should be a role model for corporates, should be a role model for scientists, should be a role model for prime ministers, really, to be able to be there. So I'm not sure how long Kohli is going to last, but it's certainly going to be for another few years.
Yeah, but I don't think anybody is going to reach 200.
I don't think so.
The amount of cricket being played, injuries, bubbles, and mental health issues, 200, I think, is beyond reach of any Test cricketer now.
I think so. I think you're right. These bubbles have taken their toll. People don't quite realize it. The quarantine and staying detached from the rest of the world, holed up in a room by yourself, eventually it takes a toll. And that's what's happened in the last 2 years. So you've got to factor that in. These have been exceptional times. But now that we are on the topic, I think if anybody in the BCCI is hearing it, it's bordering on the ridiculous at the moment. Our kids are going to school, but I'm in a bubble. I mean, it makes very little sense to be playing cricket this way in this time.
Is Mr. Watson on? Wally, can you hear us?
He has just rejoined, I think. Let me see if his camera is on.
I think his camera is still switched off. He's joined. His audio is.
Can he hear? Can we address a question to him?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, then I think we'll just move on and hope that he joins in and we can then include him in the chat. Madhipa, you first and then Piggy. IPL dominates cricket now, not just in India. I think it's the biggest cricket event, tournament, league in the world. It's been 15 years. On balance, what do you think? Is it good or bad for cricket? Or plus points, negative points?
Well, मैं समझता हूँ कि IPL is good for cricket, because you get a lot of money, and the board gets a lot of money. Without the money, without the financial thing, you cannot run the game. That is the one point, and it's good for the player also. Definitely, because it's like we have Test cricket, we have one-day cricket, 50 over. Now we have a 2020. It's going to be there. It's not going to go anywhere. But over the years, I think in IPL we have done very well. But there is a lot of things which is, I think, BCCI can improve a lot on this 2020 cricket. So that's another part. But definitely, if you ask me, you can see the talent, when you're playing the 2020. But it's a 50 over, and Test cricket is a totally different game. That's where I think someone has to come in. And then another thing, I think this financial things around, you have to make the balance of thing. मैं समझता हूँ कि जो IPL है, इसमें जितने भी फर्स्ट क्लास क्रिकेटर हैं, उनके नंबर ऑफ मैचेस के साथ उनका कॉन्ट्रैक्ट ऑप्शन होनी चाहिए. ये मेरा विचार है, क्योंकि जो खिलाड़ी टेस्ट मैच खेले हैं और 2020 क्रिकेट भी खेल सकते हैं, उनका डिफरेंट ऑप्शन मैंने होना चाहिए. क्योंकि देखिए, आप अगर एक यंग खिलाड़ी अंडर 19 को, अंडर 16 को, जो अगर आप इतने ज्यादा पैसे दे देंगे, तो उससे कहीं ना कहीं जाकर कहीं ना कहीं आपके माइंड में तो प्ले कर ही जाता है. मुझे खुशी है कि उनको पैसे मिलते हैं, बट यू हैव टू डिजर्व इट. दैट इज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट ऑफ इट. क्योंकि देखिए, नहीं तो 90% जब हम कोचिंग करने जाते हैं, वो कोई खेलना नहीं चाहता फर्स्ट क्लास, कहता आई वांट टू प्ले IPL. So that's where I am a little bit of scared of it, because then if you want to only play the IPL, then your brand value is going to be very less. So that's what I tell them, don't think about playing for the country first, and then think about playing IPL. Because if you play for the country, if you deserve that 2020, if you can play the 2020, automatically you're going to pick by the franchise. So that's where the board has to come in. So that's where they have to make a balance.
Mandeep, आप कह रहे हो कि let him play for India, let him play first class cricket and then deserve it. डिजर्व तो कर ही रहा है, वो तो बोली लग रही है, बोली में बाजार डिसाइड कर रहा है हाउ गुड और बैड यू आर. उसमें क्या गलती है?
क्या कौन से मेरे को एक बात है, अमृत को कितने जनों को बोली लगी है 15 करोड़ की, या 13 या 14 का? हाउ मेनी मैचेस दे हैव won for IPL? They have won nothing. You tell me, Chris Morris got 13 crore last year. He's commenting it now. He's sitting. He said, "No, thank you very much. I'm not playing anymore." So you tell me उसकी परफॉर्मेंस मेरे को बात बताइए. उनकी परफॉर्मेंस
आप ठीक कह रहे हो.
आप ये मैं बता रहा हूँ आपको, ये जो ईशान है, मेरे को इसकी परफॉर्मेंस मेरे को बताना एंड ऑफ द IPL सीजन, क्योंकि यू डू गेट इनटू प्रेशर. मैं बता रहा हूँ, हाउ मेनी मैचेस ही हैव वन फॉर बॉम्बे, फॉर मुंबई इंडियंस. ठीक है, he is a very talented cricketer, no doubt about that. But you learn a lot of things when you play for the country. That then the pressure you handle better. मैंने 2-3 मैच देखे हैं उसके, ईशान के साथ घबराया हुआ लग रहा है मेरे को. लाइक एक 2-3 मैच खेले उसने अभी, मैच 2020 के अगेंस्ट मेरे ख्याल श्रीलंका खेले हैं. जो तो वो ऐसा नहीं होता. देखो, और भी जितने भी खिलाड़ी है, उम्मद चांद, उसको इतने वो कहाँ है, नेकी कहाँ है? लाइक ऑल दिस प्लेयर्स, यू कैन बोली तो किसी की भी लगा सकते हो. मेरे को तो ये ऑप्शन की डायनामिक्स नहीं समझ आती. ये हो क्या रहा अंदर? एक IPL में 5-5 कोचेस बैठे हुए, किस लिए? आई डोंट नो.
मिस्टर वॉल्सन,
आप मेरे को बता दो, मेरे को कन्विंस करा दो, तो आई माइट एग्री विद यू. एक बॉलिंग को जब 3 कापियां लेके बैठे हुए हैं, एंड ऑफ द डे दिस ब्रेन इज गोइंग टू वर्क फॉर व्हेन यू गो टू द सेंटर. दैट्स गोइंग टू वर्क.
मतलब अभी मिस्टर वॉल्सन को आने दो, वो भी ऑक्शन में बैठे, मैं भी ऑक्शन में बैठा हूं, तो वॉल्सन साहब से पूछेंगे ये सवाल. बट मीनवाइल
नहीं, आप ऑक्शन में बैठिए, बड़ा ठीक है. प्लेयर की उतनी वैल्यू डालिए जितना वो डिजर्व करता है. दैट्स व्हाट आई मीन. मैं ऐसा नहीं है कि विराट कोहली, रोहित शर्मा, बड़े प्लेयर, इनको अगर दे डिजर्व आई थिंक द अमाउंट ऑफ मनी व्हिच दे आर गेटिंग इट, बट नॉट फॉर देन व्हाट हैपेंड टू द फर्स्ट क्लास क्रिकेटर, दोज हु प्लेइंग डे इन डे आउट, रणजी ट्रॉफी, दिलीप ट्रॉफी, एंड उनका क्या होगा? वो तो बेचारे they are playing for 50,000 rupees or I don't know how much money they get nowadays. तो उनका वो कहेंगे ठीक है यार, हमारा तो है ही नहीं. उनका भी then you have to make think that the first class cricket is more important than anything. That's how I want to tell you. First class cricket को importance दो ज्यादा, फिर then you automatically get selected if you're doing well.
Madhya doesn't agree to Deepak Char getting 14 crore. Fair enough.
No, I don't agree.
Fine. But Vicky, are there any other negatives to IPL apart from this huge issue of cash and excessive cash, as Madipa says? Are there any other negatives of the IPL?
Chotu, I think the IPL has been absolutely phenomenal for Indian cricket. In fact, it's one huge brand that India is now projecting to the world as well. It's been great, not only because it's providing, a career and a handsome career alternative to a cricketer, for which we cricketers had to fight with the board unsuccessfully, I might add. On a number of occasions, we've had these players associations that are now defunct and we couldn't do very much, but the IPL has done a lot of that. At least about 100, 150 cricketers can now say that they can, view cricket as a career. And apart from that, the fallout has been that the first-class cricketer is today earning over 2 lakhs a match. So to put that in perspective, let me tell you, before the IPL, when I used to play cricket for Bengal, I started playing cricket for Bengal at 100 rupees a match. So, you were spending out of pocket to finance your cricket. Now, today, you can even plan a career prospect, going forward. You can educate your children, you can have a family, you can have a home, you can have perspective. So in every way, I look at it, it's terrific. But I agree with Madipa that, the primacy of the first-class cricket or the red ball cricket or test cricket is on the wane, and it is rapidly receding. Like him, I also spend time with youngsters, and obviously the glamour, the fame, the money, the auctions, everything like that is only going to that 2020 IPL. So kids growing up today, they don't want to play. They don't want to play red ball cricket. It's too serious a game. It's too much skill oriented, fitness oriented. It's too much. It's so difficult. It's very stressful. You have to have a different high level of skill over 5 days to be able to sustain it, to be able to prevail. And for that, you're not being paid anything. So I can quite understand why that, some of the players are opting out, like, oh gosh, I'm getting old.
Quite a few.
Quite a few.
Yeah.
And that is current. Very soon, you're going to get almost a sea of young cricketers who want to play only white ball cricket. They don't want to play red ball cricket. How are you going to then address that problem? I believe, like Madan, I believe that first-class cricket has to be given the seriousness it deserves. From there, you obviously, if you're an all-round cricketer, it's fine. But make sure that like the Ranji Trophy, even though you're getting 2 lakhs a match, the player who is playing at the best, I mean, the best player in the top 20 Ranji Trophy teams get about 15 odd lakhs a year. And that's not enough to excite people. That's not enough to excite talent. So what I believe is you've got to really raise the level of first-class cricket. Give them huge prize monies. Every match you lose should mean that you've lost, a sizable amount of money. You're going to go there, and it's about money, whether you like it or you don't. Yes, along with that comes certain problems, as we have seen, but that's the way forward. That's modern sport. Anywhere it's about money. Look at golf, look at tennis, look at anything. Look at football, look at anywhere. It's obviously adding value, because I do agree that the sport has progressed from the time I was playing it to now. It's certainly progressed in a lot of dimensions. So the best thing that's happened to India is IPL, but you've got to guard, and it's very, very quick action required by the board to increase or to get the primacy of first-class cricket. Otherwise, you're going to lose out.
Okay, I'm going to ask you one question, addressed to both of you. When you played cricket for such a long time, there was no coach, there was no mentor, there was no trainer, there was no support staff. Okay, do you think cricket needs this kind of off-field management in terms of a strong coach who's deciding the team, selecting players, making all decisions, or it should be left simply to the captain as it used to be?
No, I think, Chotu, this game has progressed and it needs this. It needs people to be able to totally be consumed in strategy, in tactics, in team selections, adding value from the outside. I'm seeing it differently from the captain who's playing inside, and I'm giving him valuable inputs at the drop of a hat, a suggestion that he may accept or he may not accept. So there's a lot of value attached to the coach, the mentor, the trainer. The trainer, I see that for us, there were a few who were really committed to training, to get fit and to be fast.
Like Madipa, such a fine example of that.
Exactly. He's just what I'm trying to say. But these were the exceptions. Yeah. Our entire cricket now has gone up because there is a trainer. I see it in my team itself. I am the coach, and I have a trainer who is unbelievable in his work ethic. If you go to him at 10 o'clock at night and say, can you help me? He'll go with you to the gym. He's planning out things. I'm just giving him policy. I'm just telling him, I need this kind of cricketer, and rest is you. So I don't have to be in the gym with him and the boys at that time. I don't have to be on the ground with the boys at that time when they're training. So he's very valuable. In fact, there's one other addition that should be made. There's no need to have 3-4 coaches, because then we are stamping on each other's toes. But there certainly is a need for a coach. There's certainly a need for maybe a batting and a bowling coach. And of course, the trainer, the physio, and I'm not so sure about a mentor. I don't know what he does, what the coach is not doing. But
do you need a mentor? Do you need a mentor?
More. Sorry?
Do you need a mentor?
No. I believe that I'm the mentor. I'm not doing very much else.
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing is one more addition. I don't know whether Emlal will agree with me, is a dietitian. I'm seeing in my team, there are times when, especially in a bubble, you're getting sick of certain kind of food, and then you overeat on an occasion before a game, and the next day you are 20% lower. You can't perform because you're queasy in the stomach, or you're not feeling that strong. So maybe, if not a traveling dietitian, but certainly, a few classes with a diet expert prior to the season, and chalk out for people.
मदिबा, 2 सवाल आपके लिए. एक तो कि फिटनेस पे इतना एम्फेसिस है आजकल, ट्रेनर जैसे पिगी ने बताया, प्लेयर्स खुद भी कर रहे हैं, हर किस्म के ट्रेनर्स वगैरह भी हैं, फिर भी इतनी इंजरीज क्यों हो रही है? सेकेंडली, इससे रिलेटेड सवाल कि आजकल कहा जाता है फास्ट बॉलर्स को कि आप नेट में गेंद मत करो, 4 ओवर करो, उसके बाद छोड़ दो, अपने आप को बचा के रखो. तो आपकी क्या राय है इसके बारे में?
फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, जो आपने पहले कहा है कि जो पिगी ने अभी जो आंसर किया, मैं बिल्कुल एग्री करता हूं, क्योंकि देखिए आजकल इतनी ज्यादा क्रिकेट खेली जाती है कि उसमें आपको कोच चाहिए, असिस्टेंट कोच चाहिए, फिजियोथेरेपिस्ट चाहिए, ट्रेनर चाहिए. एक डाइटिशियन, यस, he can come and give a lecture, or 1 or 2, 3 lecture, and tell the boy this and that you can eat, during the matches, or जो भी है. But एक मैं ऐड करना चाहूंगा, जो मेरे को लगता है कि the game is played on the mind, I think you need a sports psychologist. Is very important part of a high class of cricket. So क्योंकि मैंने खुद जो मैंने एनालिस्ट किया, मैंने भी बड़े लेक्चर लिए हैं स्पोर्ट्स साइकोलॉजी के, मैंने बाहर भी गया, मैं वहां भी मैंने लेक्चर, पर आपको पता ही है गेम तो यहाँ ही खेली जाती है माइंड में. ये तो है, ये डेफिनेटली है, ये इनका होना भी बड़ा जरूरी है. अगर हम यंगर एज में शुरू करें, फर्स्ट क्लास क्रिकेट से शुरू करें, ताकि उनको हम ग्रूम कर दें, वहां से ही हम उनको स्टार्ट करें, ताकि बाय द टाइम दे रीच इन द इंटरनेशनल लेवल दे शुड बी रेडी. नाउ द फिटनेस, आई थिंक फिटनेस का एक तो मेरे को लगता है कि क्रिकेट तो काफी ज्यादा खेली जा रही है, इससे इंजरी तो आएगी. ऐसा नहीं है. इंजरी आती कैसे? इफ यू आर नॉट फुली फिट, और यू हैव अ फॉल्टी एक्शन, और यू समटाइम क्या होता है कि आप जल्दी कर देते हैं, without warming up you do something, then you get you pull your muscles, these are the 3-4 things, but at the same time you have to look after yourself also, because आपको पता है कि आपने you are playing the 3 formats, so you have to make sure that you train like this, and with the help of trainer, because trainer is a very helpful. I still train a lot, but only thing is कि जब आपको कुछ पता होता है ना कि how you going to train, that will become a much better. कि आपको ये और ये करना है, वेट ट्रेनिंग भी करनी है, हम वेट ट्रेनिंग भी करते हैं, कब करनी चाहिए, किस वक्त करनी चाहिए। हमारा क्या होता, पहले क्या होता था कि यू सी, पहले आप भाग लेते थे फिर नेट प्रैक्टिस करते थे। अब हम रिकमेंड नहीं करते, आप जस्ट वार्म अप, जस्ट डू द वार्म अप, stretch yourself, then start bowling. Then when you're doing the skill work, you have to be fresh. Then you can, after finishing your skill part of it, then you can train, because then you get the full night, 5, 8, 9, 10 hours for a recovery. Recovery is a very very important part of it in a sports. ये एक है कि आपको जो करना है ट्रेनर के साथ, तो वो जो प्रोग्राम दिया जाए उसको फॉलो करना बड़ा जरूरी है। ये तो फिजिकल जो बड़े होते हैं होगा, क्योंकि 2020 क्रिकेट है, कभी आप ऑफ डाइव कर रहे हैं, कभी कैसे मार रहे हैं, और रोज एवरीडे आप जा रहे हैं मैच खेलने, तो कहीं ना कहीं जाके इंजरी। ये तो ठीक है, क्रिकेट तो इट्स ऑलराइट, बट यू ट्रैवलिंग आल्सो, you eating different food also, that's a lot of things involved in these sort of things. और सेकंड क्वेश्चन क्या था आपका?
फास्ट बॉलर गेंद क्यों नहीं करते आजकल? 4 ओवर
नहीं, देखिए, नहीं, ये गलत बात है। ये आपको थोड़ा सा, मैं आई एम श्योर पिगी इज लुकिंग आफ्टर the Calcutta team. I'm sure that no pace bowler is bowling 3-4 overs. He must be bowling 5, 7, 8 overs. If I know him very well. So 3-4 ओवर में तो रिदम आती है। आपको 7-8 ओवर का स्पेल होना चाहिए। आई एग्री, 7-8 ओवर ठीक है, फेयर एनफ, एंड विद द फुल थ्रॉटल। ऐसा नहीं है कि आप जैसा आए भाई बॉल किया और भाई वार्म अप हो गया और मेरा स्पेल हो गया। जब तक आप मैच सिचुएशन में जाके बॉल नहीं करेंगे नेट पे, यू कैन नॉट गेट द रिदम। जो भी आते हैं, whatever it is, the habit which you develop in the nets, all the habits goes to the match. आपको जो अच्छी हैबिट जो है ना डेवलप करनी है नेट्स के ऊपर, एंड देन यू डोंट हैव द प्रॉब्लम इन द मैच, सो दैट इज, आई थिंक दे शुड बोल 7 to 8 ओवर, बिकॉज दे आर प्लेइंग लॉट ऑफ क्रिकेट। और एक और बात मैं बीच में जो आईपीएल की थोड़ी सी मैं अटैच करना चाह रहा हूँ, कि जिन नंबर ऑफ प्लेयर दोज हु गॉट द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट इन आईपीएल, दे नॉट इंटरेस्टेड प्लेइंग first class cricket. Look at the performance of IPL players, in the first class cricket, those who are playing in the 4 days game nowadays, जो उनका कोई परफॉर्मेंस ही नहीं है। तो ये चीजें थोड़ा सा बीच में हमारे इंडियन का जो सोच है ना, बिल्कुल थोड़ी सी डिफरेंट है। वी आर नॉट दैट प्रोफेशनल, बिकॉज आई प्लेड 22 years in England. I know what professionalism is. Like 22 years खेलना, not a joke. Every year I used to go and play. मैंने अगले साल मेरे को ज्यादा पैसा लेना है, अगले साल मेरे को ज्यादा पैसा लेना है। और ये आईपीएल में आप देखना, जितने भी मैचेस जिताते हैं वो सब फॉरेनर जिताते हैं। दे नो द वैल्यू ऑफ प्रोफेशनलिज्म। आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट द बिग प्लेयर्स, I'm not talking about the big players like Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, or they have the lot of pride in them. But 90 में जो फर्स्ट क्लास क्रिकेटर ना, ठीक है यार, चलता है, थोड़ा सा अपने बचाने के लिए करते हैं, ऐसा नहीं है। When you are paid for the job, better you perform. That's what I mean, Even the coaches and everybody. If I'm a coach, you are paid for my job, I must perform. I must do the good job. That's what professionalism is. तो बाकी रही ये जो है बात आपकी, डेफिनेटली बोल उनको करना चाहिए। डिपेंड अपॉन द कोच आल्सो, कैसे ही मैनेज द प्लेयर्स।
नहीं, आप ठीक कह रहे हो कि आईपीएल में इंपॉर्टेंस की वजह से फर्स्ट क्लास क्रिकेट को नीचे कर दिया गया है। खिलाड़ी अपने आप को बचाते हैं कि आईपीएल में रहें। जैसे एक बार रवि शास्त्री ने कहा था कि सबसे बड़ा फिजियो आईपीएल है, सब फिट आईपीएल के नाम आते ही सब फिट हो जाते हैं। बट मैं आपसे एक दूसरा सवाल पूछना चाहता हूँ दोनों से, सिलेक्शन के बारे में। हाउ डू यू डिसाइड कि खिलाड़ी को किस टाइम चूज कर लेना चाहिए? अगर यंगस्टर है तो इज इट राइट टू बी पिक्ड अप एंड प्रमोटेड? एंड मोर इम्पोर्टेंट, वो कौन सा वक्त है जबकि आपको एस्टेब्लिश खिलाड़ी को रिटायर करा देना चाहिए या सिलेक्ट नहीं करना चाहिए? फॉर इंस्टेंस, डू यू थिंक हमने पुजारा और राणे को बहुत ज्यादा समय दिया? शुड वी हैव ड्रॉप्ड देम अर्लियर? तो बेसिकली टाइमिंग का इशू है कि यंगस्टर को कब खिलाना चाहिए और सीनियर प्लेयर को कब ड्रॉप करना चाहिए।
Okay, yeah. Okay, just before I answer that, Chotu, I want to make a little point about that injury thing. I have felt that we in India have based our entire cricket, our NCA, our academies, all on the Australian model. And the Australian model, yeah, because they were world champions, because they were, dominating world cricket, we found that what they did, we should imbibe. And they had done a lot of work, biometrics, working out actions of fast bowlers, because they had a peculiar problem of stress fractures. Now, I believe that genetically, Indians are more supple, easy. We don't get injured so much, but we're not as strong as the Australians are. Now, if you ask me at this age, I can touch my toes. You ask a 25-year-old Australian international athlete, he cannot. So there is a difference in our body makeup, in our DNA, and in our genetic structure. So they've done a lot of work, and then they worked out to try and fix the action so it doesn't have so much problem and wear and tear on the back. Now, yeah, it's great work, it's scientific studies, but it's not applicable to us. There's a saying that if it isn't broke, don't fix it. So what we've done is blindly just taken everything from the Australians, and that's how we are, graduating our coaches, level 1, level 2, level 3. Okay. Now, let me finish. Let me finish. As soon as a player comes and these coaches are there and they say, oh gosh, if you bowl like this action, 5 years later, you'll get a stress fracture of the back. So he changes them. He changes, your toe should be this, your shoulder should be aligned with your waist, and you've got to have that semi-open action. And Kapil Dev's action was wrong and bad and all that. So what happens is that the kid who's swinging the ball and he's doing great stuff with this biomechanically ineffective action, which is supposed to cause him grief later on in life, what happens is that he changes. First of all, his skill level goes down. Secondly, the hundreds of muscles that were tuned to that earlier action cannot support him. 1 year down the line, he suddenly breaks down. So I'm firmly of the belief that the board has to look at this in their NCA and adapt to Indians. If there was somebody, if Bumrah had gone to the NCA, or if he had been noticed by some third level coach in India, he would not have been a Bumrah. That's for sure. If Roger Binney had been playing cricket today, he bowled like this. He would never been allowed to bowl because everybody would say, oh God, at the age of 16, they would say you'll break your back at age 19. So even people like Kapil Dev, Kapil had this fantastic action, late outswing, magnificent cricketer, but thankfully not coached. So it's, I think we are also suffering a little from overcoaching in India.
No, I agree.
Now,
coming back to the question, should Pujara and Hane, we should have,
yes,
should they be dropped earlier?
Listen, Chotu, this is very individual. This, in India, we are far too emotional. Let me say this.
Listen, you're a selector now. You're a selector now. You have to
I find it difficult. I find it very difficult, because of my Indianness, because of the heroes that I'm addressing, because of the weight of runs that they've scored, all that, which shouldn't be bothering us, does bother us. In India, most cricketers overstay their welcome. They're finished long before they're actually dropped. And 8 out of 10 such cases emerge, with the result that the youngsters are not getting an in when they should, because you're holding up the conveyor line. And I very rarely have I found any cricketer who has said, this is my time to go. One huge name that comes to mind is Sunil Gavaskar. You've got to take your hat off to him for having scored a double hundred and then saying, I'm going. Not exactly, when I look at even in our Ranji Trophy levels, the legends of the game, they don't know when to leave. They really overstay. So it's not easy for the selectors to make these choices, and hats off to them when they do. But in India, coming back to Rahane and Pujara, Rahane, I mean, I'm not so sure about Rahane, but definitely Pujara should have been exited a while ago.
Madiba, up.
Definitely, whatever Arun said, because it's difficult to take a decision, but somewhere you have to take a decision, and definitely, I think maybe one series, I think they stayed a longer period, but definitely मैं समझता हूँ कि उनको लास्ट सीरीज में ही कर देना चाहिए था, क्योंकि बड़ा जरूरी रहता है कि आप किस टाइम पे अपने यंगस्टर को इंडक्ट करते हैं, खिलाते हैं, वो भी बड़ा जरूरी है कि आपकी टीम जो है उसके साथ साथ बिल्ड करती चले जाए। बट डेफिनेटली एक बात पता क्या है कि हम ये क्यों सोचते हैं कि वो दोबारा वापस नहीं आ सकते? ठीक है, गो एंड प्ले इन फर्स्ट क्लास क्रिकेट, इफ द प्लेस इज देयर देन यू कैन ऑलवेज कम बैक। नहीं, उनको ड्रॉप, हाँ वो तो आ सकते हैं। अगर आप इतना फोर्स कर दो सेलेक्टर को कि हाँ मैं देखिए मैंने 5-10 100 बनाए हैं, यू कैन ऑलवेज कम बैक। बट जब अगर आपकी जगह खाली, अगर जो उनकी जगह पे खेल रहे हैं, जैसे हनुमान विहारी खेल रहा है, if he do well, why should he should be dropped now? And because he done well, but definitely then you have to wait for it. पर ये है कि हम थोड़ा सा डिले जरूर कर देते हैं अपने जो हीरोज होते हैं, पर इनको चांसेस भी इसलिए ज्यादा दिए जाते हैं क्योंकि इन्होंने इन द हिस्ट्री जो पास में है थोड़ा सा इनका परफॉर्मेंस अच्छा होता है, थोड़ा सा लॉन्गर पीरियड उनको दे दिया जाता है। वो उसमें ऐसा भी होता है कि एक आधा सीरीज या 2 सीरीज ज्यादा भी दी जाती है, तो ये खुद को पता होना चाहिए। आई थिंक दैट पुजारा एंड राणे मस्ट know that this is the time we should go and play the first class cricket. If we want to come back, we will come back.
Incidentally, राणे खेल रहा है रणजी ट्रॉफी, पिछले 3 मैच
खेलना चाहिए,
खेल रहा है, पिछले 2 मैच में 2-0 है इसके।
अब पता लगता है ना फर्स्ट क्लास क्रिकेट की इंपॉर्टेंस क्या है।
मुझे आप मेरा जो पहला सवाल था उसका भी जवाब चाहिए कि किस स्टेज पे यंगस्टर को डाल देना चाहिए, उसको वेट कराएं या उसको पोटेंशियल दिखे तो फटाफट खिला दो जैसे पाकिस्तान?
नहीं, देखिए जो यंगस्टर है इनको खिला देना चाहिए। ओनली यंगस्टर वो है जो द कैप्टन एंड द कोच थिंक यार ही इज वेरी टैलेंटेड, एंड क्योंकि उनके ऊपर इन्वेस्टमेंट करना बड़ा जरूरी रहता है ताकि वो आपको 4-5-7-6 साल के लिए आपको वो परफॉर्म करते रहे और आपको मैच जिताते रहे। जैसे अभी दिल्ली ने यश डुल को चांस दिया, बहुत अच्छी बात की है क्योंकि वो उसने अंडर 19 में अच्छा किया तो उसको उन्होंने खिलाया। लास्ट टाइम व्हेन आई वाज देयर इन दिल्ली, वहां एक खिलाड़ी मनोज कालरा, पता नहीं कोई ऐसा खिलाड़ी था जो अंडर 19 में 100 बना के आया। मैंने सेलेक्टर को बोला, मैंने कहा इसको आप रणजी ट्रॉफी टीम में डाल दीजिए। चलो खिलाना या ना खिलाना वो कैप्टन के ऊपर डिपेंड करता है कि वो नहीं खिलाया, कहते नहीं इसको रहने दो अभी। भाई जो खिलाड़ी अच्छा कर रहा है, टैलेंटेड है, तो उसको अपने स्क्वाड के साथ रखना या उसको मैच खिलाना इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। तभी तो आप एक टीम बिल्डअप करोगे ना, नहीं तो फिर वो एक आधा साल में अगर उसने अच्छा परफॉर्म नहीं किया तो सेलेक्टर भी कहते हैं देखा ना मैंने कहा था कि ये तो ये अभी इसको रोक लो, बट उसको खिला देना चाहिए। टैलेंटेड खिलाड़ी को मस्ट गिव हिम अ चांस।
पिगी, आपकी टीम में एक तो अंडर 19 का खिलाड़ी है, विकेट कीपर जो बहुत अच्छा कर रहा है, तो यंगस्टर है, यू गिवन हिम अ चांस, ही इज परफॉर्मिंग। ऑन द अदर हैंड you have somebody who's a minister in the Bengal cabinet, वो भी आपके साथ है।
बिल्कुल है।
एक तरफ यंगस्टर है, एक तरफ बिल्कुल ही सीनियर खिलाड़ी जो कि also happens to be sports minister in Bengal. How do you manage this?
Chotu, I don't bother whether he's sports minister or whatever he's doing, or he's a clerk in a bank. The point is that he has been a legend of Bengal cricket, and we are hoping that he can pull on his experience and perform. We need one guy in the middle who can, with his experience, hold out. That's our thinking, that is our hope. But coming to the youngster, this boy, he scored 3 or 4 back-to-back hundreds in the under 19, and we had an opportunity to use him. So not only is he doing well, he's kept us alive in the tournament. He's won us a terrific game. We lost 6 wickets, and then he had a partnership of 130-40 runs, and he's a free-flowing batsman. He doesn't feel the stress, or at least that's the use of youth and the uncluttered mind. So he's been spectacular. I will add to this, these selectorial problems. I think, they should make maybe it's a little radical thought that's come to me. They should make it mandatory for every first-class team to play at least one under-19 cricketer in your 11. So that will ensure that at least one young guy, 18, 17, 19, is getting a chance, even if at that moment he's probably not the best to be in the 11, but who knows, later on he could become twice as good as the ones who are playing because he has youth on his side. So that's an important thing to consider.
Okay, I think we are happy Mr. Watson has finally joined. We can see him on the screen. So let me
Sorry,
ask...
everyone, there were some major technical issues, but seems it's finally resolved. Hi,
Okay.
Piggy.
Hi, Wally. Listen,
Sorry.
Wally, I thought I was technically challenged, but you
We
are worse
all
than me.
are. We all are.
So, Wally, let me ask you some quick questions because I think we're also running out of time soon. There was a discussion on the IPL.
Yeah.
And one of the things was that IPL is good, IPL is also bad. One of the things why it's bad is there's too much money with people who don't deserve it. So I want a reaction to that. Secondly, I also want you to tell us, why does the IPL have 10 coaches or 11 coaches with 11 players? Is there an overload of this kind of coaching staff and support staff?
See, Moni, yeah, there have been critics of IPL, but if you look at the way it has come out, turned out, obviously it's helped a lot of youngsters. People who've been, just trying to break the, get into the team. I'm talking about domestic cricket here. They don't get those chances, but yes, our coaches and scouts that we have, they see a potential. Now that kid would never be able to break into a state team. Now that is where this game has helped these youngsters to not only showcase their this and perform. And it has helped, there are obscene number of names and who are now playing for the national team just because they've done well in the IPL. Number one. Number two, even the seasoned players who are not in the reckoning, they've come and played, performed, and then they've gone back to the Indian team. Again, there are a lot of these cases. But yes, there are some, the way most of the purists of the game, they feel it's ruining the game, and especially the skill. The skill set is totally different. Everyone wants to make those, quick fire 20 in, say, 5 balls, 6 balls, and he's a star. So, and it has also affected these players where their technique and, adaptability totally different from the red ball cricket. So then, those kind of flaws creep in, and which finally has an effect to them, affects them when they are playing in the longer format of the game. So those are the challenges, and that will always be there. And the other thing is, yes, which is always a concern, which is now for a youngster, what does he crave to play for? He's interested in a contract with one of the teams. Once he's picked up, this day is made. That's what they look for. Whereas it has to be structured in a way that all these kids, in fact, BCCI did well at that point in time when the under 19 players, they said they have to play first class cricket before they are drafted in, which was nice. And that was the season 1. I still recall Virat Kohli when he led the under 19 team and they won the World Cup. They were not supposed to be in the IPL. But finally, they said, okay, we'll draft them in. It will be a draft system. And see where it has taken these kids, And coming about to the coaching part of it, Moni, yes, it's a large contingent that you carry, roughly about 25, 27 players.
And you even have a wicket-keeping coach.
Sorry?
You even have a wicket-keeping coach.
There's no end to it. Now, initially, we all had one physio. Now the physio wants an assistant physio. The pressure is always there because, yes, you're on the move, strenuous schedule, and traveling. So there's always major issues involved here. But yes, you're right. I mean, and I'm sure Madipa and Piggy will agree that there's nothing much to coach there. Okay. In this,
I'm feeling bad about having to interrupt this very interesting this thing, but we have to leave some time for a few questions from the audience.
Okay, listen,
But-
okay, let me just ask one final question to them.
Yeah, okay.
Then
Go ahead.
we can take questions from others.
No, I actually had my own comment also, which was because I could see the two sides of cricket being discussed. The purest view, which is of Test cricket, and I think Madhipaji is very much in that. And I think, in a sense, that because I also belong to that generation, that we believe in Test cricket as the purest cricket. But I also agree with Sunil Watson that because the instant cricket has come about, it's almost like a different game. It's played with the same cricket bat and ball, but it's a different game. And there is a national team for T20 World Cup or for the ODIs, which of course has been there for some time. So you have to groom two sets of players, and we know that there are certain teams of the world who have a completely different contingent for Test cricket and for these instant cricket. So ask your final question, perhaps also take up what I'm asking, and then we will have the audience asking.
One general interest question to each of you. You'll have to answer separately. Your three favorite cricketers. They may not be the best cricketers, but your three favorite cricketers. Madipa, aap pehle, Piggy, then Mr. Watson.
My favorite cricketer is Mr. Sunil Gavaskar, Vivian Richard, and Dennis Lillee. Dennis Lillee, and that's a New Zealander fast bowler.
Hadley.
What's his name? Hadley.
No Kapil Dev.
Huh?
No
कपिल देव तो हमारा हीरो है ही है।
अरे 3 मांगे थे आपसे पूछने, आपने
वो तो मेरा कुलीग है यार। वो मैं अगर नाम लेता हूँ उसका तो कहेंगे नहीं यार ये इसका दोस्त है।
तो चलो आपने कपिल देव अलग है, पर आपने
कपिल देव is total different. Don't consider him in this sort of thing.
आज जब ये अपना ये चैट का प्लानिंग हुई थी, तो मैंने कहा अपने आप से कि मैं कुछ भी करूं, मैं मदीपा से एक सवाल नहीं पूछूंगा।
अच्छा
है कि आपने विव रिचर्ड्स को आउट कैसे किया?
और वो आउट हो गया,
वो तो बहुत जरूरी है।
मैंने कहा हो गया, एक चीज अगर मैं नहीं पूछूंगा तो वो। But anyway, Vicky, your three favorite cricketers.
Sort of difficult again, yeah, but definitely Viv Richards is one. I have Virender Sehwag. I was deeply enamored by his approach and what he's done on the field. So I have Viru, I have and Kapil.
Wally?
Well, I'm not talking about my teammates, obviously, because as Madipa said, I mean, it's like, keeping them aside. Mine would always be, my number one choice would be Gary Sobers. I've been a fan. The first test match I saw was of his. And I was a little boy then. And then Dennis Lillee, always all-time favorite. And then G.R. Vishwanath for me.
Outstanding, all of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about you yourself, Moni? Your three?
No, I'm not supposed to have an opinion.
Why? You don't want to get into controversy.
एक चीज और पूछना था आपसे कि आप तीनों ने you've been very closely linked to Delhi cricket. आप तीनों दिल्ली के लिए खेले हो, अलग-अलग जगह भी खेले, पर दिल्ली के लिए आप बहुत खेले हो. और उस टाइम Bishan Bedi was the champion, who made Delhi team, who made North Zone team. A quick comment from all of you on Bishan Bedi.
Bishan Singh Bedi was great. He taught us how to win the games. He taught us the culture which today Delhi, I think that culture is finished. But definitely he taught us the culture, how to win the games and how to progress, And he was a great motivator and a great leader.
Piggy,
Yeah, I want to underline what Madan said. And I want to add that whatever I learned from him. I looked up to him as a father figure, as an elder brother, as a friend. And I am truly grateful to him for imbibing certain values in me. I remember, I'll give you an incident. That we were playing a game against, I think it was Services, and we were wanting to get them out to get some points, and there were 1 or 2 wickets left. And he bowled a ball. I think it was me or Rakesh Shukla. We were both on either side of the wicket at short leg and silly point. And it was a bump catch. And we appealed and, put pressure on the umpire. And he immediately on the ground, he fired us. That's not how I'm going to play my cricket. That's not how. So, the value system that he imbibed in us and the honesty with which he played the game is going to stay with me for the rest of my life. I love him.
Wally?
Yeah, without doubt. I mean, he was the key factor as we grew up, coming into the team, and the way he looked after us. I haven't come across a greater motivator, Moni. I mean, he'll make you feel as if you're the best guy going around.
Yeah.
Trust and that faith that he put in you. I still recall, Piggy, we were playing that crucial match in Mumbai, and full-fledged Mumbai team. Okay, I think that was the semi-final, right? And I hurt myself playing in a friendly game at Hindu College, and that was about 2 or 3 days before we left. And I badly hurt my knee. I still remember how upset he was with me. He says, how could you play this friendly game and hurt yourself? And I was a non-starter for the game, the semi-final. And he wanted me to desperately play in that game. And I recall the 3 days we were in Mumbai. Early morning, he used to take me to Mumbai Hospital. I think it was Dr. Joshi then there. Every day he used to take me there, bring me back. And finally he says, I just want those 5 overs from you. And I don't care how you do it. And I haven't seen, and I never thought I could even walk properly, leave alone bowl. But with that kind of trust and this, he made you feel as if, and we won that game after ages, beating Bombay in Mumbai. And as Piggy said, totally selfless, large-hearted, and very serious on the field. Off the field, he was a champion as it is.
Listen, just to inform everybody, Bishan is recovering from a medical issue.
Yes.
We all wish him the best and hope he gets back to normal life quickly. Okay, Raj, one final question addressed to Piggy. There is so much talk nowadays about people bowling 140 odd, and they're quick and it's scary. You went to the West Indies when you had the most sort of fierce pace bowling at you on maybe dicey wickets with little protection. How was it to play those fast bowlers in those conditions?
Frightening, Jodu. It's like Madan says, that it's a mind game. Just the fact that there was that quartet coming at you with no restrictions on bouncers, no restriction really on field settings, on whatever, and less protection. So you were intimidated prior to facing them. And when you face them in the West Indies, there's a big difference when you're facing real fast bowling on a normal wicket and facing fast bowling where the ball is bouncing, like we faced in Barbados. I remember on that series where I was there, the Barbadian wicket was very, very difficult to play. And if you have these 4 of them coming at you, it can be very intimidating. I don't know what pace they were bowling at then, but they were as fast as anybody now.
Raj, I think we're running out of time.
Yeah. Moni, it's very interesting that you talked about Mr. Bishan Singh Bedi. I must tell you that almost 2 years ago, he was one of the first ones to come on our Vasant Vihar Club Zoom session, and he was in conversation with Vivek Atre, whom you know.
Yeah.
So let me quickly ask first the questions that are there on the chat. The first question is that Madipaji talked about Kohli's attitude, but his aggressive attitude has sometimes been questioned. That is it good for him to be so brash and aggressive? What's your view, Madipaji?
No, I like him. I like the aggression, because that's what I want. It's a game you're playing at the international level. So why not? And
But
you have to
if
show
you're
that.
playing a gentleman's game,
There is no gentleman left.
Oh,
No gentleman left in this world now. No gentleman game. No more. I'm sorry to say that. I like that. I want that he should come and hit the this pace bowler all over the ground. So that's what we need. The passion. Game has to be. अगर मैं देख रहा हूँ गेम तो मेरे को मजा आता है विराट कोहली को देखकर. इसलिए क्योंकि सब लोग क्रिटिसाइज करते थे कि हमारे टीम में कोई इतना कोई एग्रेसिव प्लेयर नहीं है, चुप करके आते हैं, चुप करके चले जाते हैं. But I like this attitude, and look at how many matches he has won for the country. He has changed the culture of the game also. That,
True.
for me, it's great.
There's a question from Chand. We've talked about the red ball cricket and white ball cricket, and right now we have the same captain, Rohit, for red and white ball cricket. What do you feel? He says, who should captain India post Rohit? Any one of you can take the question, Piggy?
Post Rohit is very difficult to say. It depends on how long Rohit is going to be captaining. But there would be some people emerging. At the moment, it's a very difficult choice because I really don't see anyone who's there to be able to captain the Indian side at the moment.
Let me be provocative. What about Rishabh Pant?
Yeah, I've heard the radical view expressed by somebody as colossal as Sunil Gavaskar. Maybe he's right. Maybe he will infuse an aggression, a devil-may-care attitude to go for that win. Something different. He brings a lot to the table, but I still believe that maybe a year down the line.
Yeah, sure. In your favorites, you mentioned Sehwag, and Rishabh Pant reminds me of Sehwag's style of batting, very aggressively and with a free flow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Sehwag, incidentally, to me, Virender Sehwag was the best Indian captain that we never had. He would have really, really added huge value to the Indian team. I remember Virender Sehwag in Sri Lanka when that Mendes and Murli were at the terrorizing us. I was doing commentary. The first test match, we were blown away by those two. And remember, we had the Tendulkar, Ganguly, Dravid, Lakshman. They just didn't know what was happening. And I remember telling a friend of mine, we've been blown away. But the problem is, I can't understand how we're going to last in this series. How are we going to win, or how are we even going to compete in this series? Very next test match, Virender Sehwag goes and gets a double 100 against these guys. And what was fantastic to see was he was not taking single to protect his partner and not going for his double 100. He was trying to make sure that the innings is prolonged further. He was sensational. So I obviously believe that there was a time where if Sehwag had been captain for 2 years, he would have contributed enormously to the Indian cause.
Oh, you're right. I mean, there were times I used to think that Sehwag was playing on a different pitch altogether from the other players.
No, but one thing I just want to add: Virender Sehwag has won many matches for the country. When you start the game, when 150 for no loss in 22 over, 23 over, the rest of the batsmen can enjoy the game.
made life easier.
He's done that number of times.
Yeah. So we have a question from a gentleman called Veera. He says, don't we see in future that the all-rounder will deserve place in the team as opposed to specialists, especially in the varied formats of cricket played in the world, even in the test? Even in the test cricket, we need players down to 10 who score.
I think this is because of the IPL trend, where you want to have multi-skilled players, and which is reflected in the auction, where all these so-called all-rounders have gone for big prices.
Yeah.
So is that going to happen in Test cricket? The question is a similar thing going to happen in Test cricket?
I agree. As a coach of Bengal, for the last 3 years, I've been looking for these multi-skilled cricketers, because what I'm seeing is that even in first-class cricket or in Test cricket, the top 6 are more or less the same. The difference is maximum 10-15%. But the 7, 8, 9, 10 makes such a difference, where your bowlers come in and you can't get them out. And that 7, 8, 9, 10 contribute about 150 runs. You just can't beat that team. We lost the Ranji Trophy to Saurashtra in the final. Their number 10 and 11 scored 53 runs. Unadkat and somebody else, I can't remember, 53 runs against us. We lost the match by 44 runs. So it's important not to have, in modern day cricket, England, they score huge runs because of their the fast bowlers batting. And that's one area where everybody can improve.
So, Piggy, I think if Madipa was in the IPL, he'd be
Superb. He would have got the
10%.
15 crores and he would have
Yeah.
deserved it.
No.
So certainly 10 crore plus.
And you can imagine what Kapil would have gone for.
No. See, my point of view is, I love them. I love all the youngsters. They're getting money. Very good. But if you deserve it, simple as that.
And
If you don't deserve it,
No, but who
That's
decides that you deserve it or not?
I decide.
Market has to decide.
Market.
No.
I decide.
Moni,
Because Arun,
yes.
you also know that who's your match winner in Bengal. You're doing
Yes.
captaincy, coaching.
True.
You know that which player is valuable to you. So
Absolutely.
you decide कि
Yeah.
मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ.
In
तो
fact,
ये बड़ा
Moni,
जरूरी है. इसके आज जितने भी IPL में जितने भी को ज्यादा पैसे मिले वो सब सुपर फ्लॉप रहे. Can you imagine 1 crore for one match?
correct. That's the
Yeah,
point
it
I'm
is.
trying to say.
There is
You
a
might
question.
go for a very high bid. Okay. You might go for 10 crores or 12 crores.
Hello, yaar, there is a bad news. There is a bad news. Shane Warne is
Shane Warne has just passed away.
just passed away, yaar.
My
Yeah.
God.
Oh my God.
Unfortunately, we have to have a somber note in this session.
Oh,
Sad.
Just died of a heart attack, and
Oh.
condolences are pouring in. So that's the breaking news, unfortunately.
That's
very sad, yeah.
Very sad. Very sad. Unbelievable.
Very.
Shocking.
I think Raj, we've run out of
Abhi,
time.
Rodney Marsh also died, na?
Yeah.
Yes,
Raj, I think we've run out of time also.
I think, on that somber note, we will have to end, unfortunately, although we were enjoying.
With Shane Warne and
The-
just end the conversation.
Maybe one last question I can allow Mr. Deepak Bhalla. He's one of our regulars and he has a question. Deepak, quickly ask your question. Unmute yourself, Deepak. Deepak, unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yes. Are you hearing me?
Yeah.
Okay. We all know that BCCI is the richest sport body, maybe of the world in cricket. It is doing a lot for the cricket, but from the panel, I would like to know what they expect that it should do to strengthen cricket at the grassroots level in India.
Wali, who is going to answer? Definitely, I think they're doing quite a lot for the grassroots level. At the moment, our under 19, under 16, and 25 cricket, Ranji Trophy, all this thing is all they're looking after the grassroots, and they're giving a lot of facilities to them. Infrastructure is improved a lot. They getting a good pitches where the players are made. So I think BCCI in all these areas has done quite a good job.
No doubts about it. They've not only improved the infrastructure, but yes, I think where the effort needs to really be concentrated on is the domestic cricket. I'm sure there's a lot more to be done in that. And, you have, players scoring 300, 400 and all. And that kind of thing, and there are gaps there. But domestic cricket has to be better organized, and it should be mandatory that when our national players in the national team are not selected, they should be playing in the domestic matches. That should be mandatory, because that's the way it goes in Australia, England, you name it anywhere. I mean, they have to play for their state or county or whatever. And that is something which is really lacking here. You pick and choose your matches, which can't happen.
Raj?
Thank you so much. Unfortunately, we will not take any further questions because of what I just said. Maybe, our President, General Shankar Prasad, do you want to say something to the panelists? From my side, thank you so much, all of you. But General Shankar Prasad, yeah, over to you.
Thank you so much, Raj. Thank you so much, Madan Lal.
Thank you very much.
I really enjoyed your comments.
General Sahab, thank you very much.
I really love the way you speak. So good of you. Thank you so much. And
Thank you. Take care.
Such a lot of inputs into this program. You made it so lively and so
Thank
good.
you.
Thanks a lot for being here. And of course, Sunil joined a little later, but we were very wisely hearing to all the lovely comments you made. And of course, Moni, you did a great job to control these people who would have gone on talking. But the fact of the matter is this, that cricket is a very exciting thing. I mean, every child wants to talk about cricket. If you go and ask my grandchildren, they'll give you a couple of hints on how to do things. And somebody will say how Dhoni should have been hitting his helicopter shot and things like that. So it's such an absorbing game. And I think it's, as far as India is concerned, it is easily the most popular game today. My sincere thanks on behalf of myself and the complete team of Vasant Vihar Litfest group, and also our members. Thank you so much for coming. You've taken time out this evening. We are really grateful. We will soon get you on our physical Litfest as and when we have, which should not be very far away if the pandemic goes on the way it is going. So once again, thank you so much, Raj, Moni, Madan, Wilson, Arun, all of you. Thank you so much. And all the best.
Thank you.
Good night to you.
Thank you very much, all of you, and have a good night.
You too.